Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm actually a little flushed. We are just building a garden today at 1 Cabrillo Elementary down in the city of Hawthorne. They're actually still finishing it up. We've about 50 volunteers from UCLA. So I'm not normally this tanned and flushed. So Steve, actually this speech is a little bit false. Let me start. A garden in every school. That's original. I can see your faces already. Oh no, not another school garden lecture. Everybody knows why we should have school gardens. Everybody knows why kids should eat better. And everybody's aware of the damage that we are causing to our children because of the food that they eat. I'd like to switch it up a little. And this speech is more about, it's the adults, stupid. We talk a lot about student behavior in Los Angeles Unified. Student potential, student achievement. What about adult behavior? Los Angeles Unified is close to 84,000 employees and serves almost 1 million parents. Yes, I'm Tomas O'Grady, and yes, I am the leader of the nonprofit Enrich LA. And yes, our goal is to get a garden in every Los Angeles school. In the last 2.5 years, we've built over 60 school gardens across the city. We permitted, designed, fundraised for, and troubleshooted these green spaces for a district that many so-called reformers say is impossible to work with. So how do we do that? Well, first, why? We believe that a clean, green, and beautiful school filled with motivated and loved and well-respected adults is the key to a great product to the customer, of course, being our students. In my work, I visit over 100 schools across the city of Los Angeles, and I have really rarely yet met a student who doesn't want to learn, who doesn't have dreams, and doesn't want to try new things. Yet I've met many adults who frankly seem to have given up. The adults in this district need to start treating students like customers. Why can't a student walk through the front door of a school or be greeted in the cafeteria just as they would at H&M or the Gap? Doesn't cost any more money to be cheerful or to be pleasant or to be polite. If we're going to expect kids to behave, to think outside the box, to be creative, then we adults need to start leading by example. I'm going to get this right here. We're pretty proud of our work at Los Angeles Unified. We've accomplished a lot. Using volunteer assets, we've created 1-acre wildland habitats, reading gardens, edible gardens. Gardens improve air quality, increase exposure to the natural world, and encourage environmental stewardship. I've seen young 13-year-old boys who are already diabetic. That's really sad, and it is a scandal, frankly, that we have caused it because of their eating habits. These gardens act as catalysts to show students just how versatile, delicious, and fun healthy food can be, developing positive attitudes towards healthy, fresh food, and increasing consumption of these foods. This is El Sereno Middle School, Wilton Place Elementary, a new garden we just built at Carson Gore Environmental Academy, a new elementary school that was built but didn't have an edible garden. This is a reading garden at Glen Feliz Elementary in Los Feliz. This is a garden at Lockwood Elementary. It's called an outdoor library. You can see there's no green space. So what we did is we decided to build a tree bench around an old planter to give it that feel. And that school has almost no green space. This is El Sereno again, and you can see our new tomato cages and the tomatoes starting to come up. When I started this, really smart people would say, LAUSD is too difficult, too bureaucratic. They don't want your help. Have you noticed how folks tend to talk about the district as if it's an entity, even the people who work for the district, as if it's not them, it's an entity that's outside of them and that they can't affect? The fact is the district is made up of all those same people. Enrich LA has succeeded where others have failed in rapidly getting our product, the garden, to our customer, the students, by expecting adults to step up, by treating the adult employees with respect and expecting them to help us. In fact, for every adult that dragged their feet, weren't so creative, refused to think outside the box, and in many cases, refused to break the rules, there was another adult who was willing to do so. Principals across this city who are saying, I'm going to get a garden at any cost, and if that means breaking a couple of rules, then please go ahead and do so. We have fine adult actors in our schools, though many will tell you that they've been reprimanded in the past for thinking outside the box. We set out to encourage them, find them, and in some cases, reactivate them. You see, over the years, as our so-called leaders have duked it out in the newspapers and on TV over charters, teacher tenure, the list goes on, the progress has been happening quietly and locally at our local schools with principals, parents, and teachers doing the best they can to improve the system. It happened at King Middle School. I'm the father of 4, and I'm the founders of Thomas King Middle School in Los Feliz, the nonprofit. 5 years ago, as Justine and I fretted where we were going to send our young one to school, we challenged Dr. Murphy, the principal, because King didn't have a good reputation. It had an API of 628, and we felt it just wasn't good enough for our kids. She challenged us, and she said, why don't you help us instead of complaining? You see, at the time, many of our neighbors in Los Feliz and Silver Lake, and we think we're pretty cool in Los Feliz and Silver Lake, we would send our kids to the 900-plus API local elementary schools, Franklin Elementary, Ivanhoe in particular. And then we'd drop out of public school because the middle schools weren't good enough, and we'd go off to charters. At 628, little community engagement, and a dirty, worn campus, King just simply wasn't good enough. And so we accepted Dr. Murphy's challenge. Together, we fundraised for an edible garden, a sort of a tangible beginning of the Renaissance. A warning shot, that simple edible garden sparked a few teachers. They brought classes to the garden. Then they created a new environmental studies magnet surrounded around the garden. The special needs class finally had a cheerful outdoor classroom. Teachers who in the past may have been disappointed with the speed of change in the district now saw tangible progress. Tomatoes were growing. A custodian took care of the edible garden on her own time during that first summer. In 2012, after teachers and students made a sculpture of styrofoam trays from the school cafeteria from one day's use, KTLE covered it in the news, and John Deasy, the superintendent, showed up, held a press conference at the garden to announce the elimination of all styrofoam trays. That's progress, that's exciting. The campus started getting energetic. Teacher appreciation, flowers. We bought them flowers the first year. Stupid, simple flowers. Everybody needs love. Teachers love to feel appreciated. Reward your teacher, and your investment will be returned tenfold. Staff appreciated us parents by buying us plants. In short, a love fest, a conspiracy of love. This is the North Star hot water pressure washer, 250 degrees, 4 gallons per minute at 3,000 PSI. It's a beauty. Actually, I have one for sale on Craigslist. That's why I'm showing it to you today. I always used to wonder what the elements were. You know, when you'd walk the Santa Monica Promenade or the Americana in Glendale, why was it so pleasant? Why is it so pleasant to walk around there? Yes, there are the nice stores. Yes, people dress up a little better. But there was something else. They're clean. They pressure wash their sidewalks and their buildings almost every week. Kids love clean. Teachers love clean. Actually, the cleaner a place is, the cleaner it is kept. And so we bought that machine. Volunteers watched the school campus. I hate chewing gum. You know, chewing gum turns black after age. It's disgusting. It holds bacteria, and it actually holds a smell. And that's the smell that you smell on campus. Did you know you need boiling water to get rid of chewing gum? And that's what that beautiful pressure washer is. Everyone helped. Teachers and parents ran the machine. If you've never used a hot water pressure washer, then you've never used or never lived. It is exhilarating. The sound of the machine alone washing away the filth and dirt was the same as washing away old attitudes. We have failed our students, and indeed our teachers, by asking them to learn in filth. Our schools are filthy. This is King Middle School. 2007, 628. 2013, 843. A super success story. Yeah. My children are at King Middle School, and it all happened because everybody decided to work together. It's as simple as that. We focused on the little bits and pieces that we could fix, and then it just became a cancer after that. Everybody started to compete with each other to do something better for the campus. It wasn't all roses, though. Some were so bitter about the past indignities that they couldn't let it go, and they moved on. Judy Murray's classroom at Franklin Elementary in Los Feliz, inviting and cheerful. Many do not look like this. Visuals matter. We have a dress code for kids. What about a dress code for adults? In my work, I've walked to over 100 schools in LAUSD, and sometimes I've been greeted by an unkempt, unshaven, badly dressed, rude adult at the front door. Imagine how the kids feel when they walk into those schools. Mrs. Sasso, the principal of Franklin Elementary, where some of our children are, we have 4, by the way, she says a school is a special place to visit so that one can learn and be enlightened. Let's dress up for it, please. Chain link fences, locked gates, more correctional facility than community center. We even have an armed police force in our schools. I don't understand it. We've kept out the strangers, the troublemakers, the different thinkers, the community activists, the artists, the community gardeners, the very people who can help us. King succeeded in part because we welcomed in the community. We welcomed those troublemakers in behind the locked gates. They caused so much trouble that the school improved. Los Feliz Charter has this really wonderful program. It's called Artists in Residence. When I was there last, they had a doll maker. The idea is that the doll maker gets the space for free. The students get to see this art or this trade right before their eyes. And the campus is just cheered up a little or energized with something a little bit different. Now, can you imagine the district using all of its empty spaces? And God knows we got plenty of them. To have woodworkers, potters, filmmakers, writers, all sitting there every day, and in exchange for free rent, students and teachers would be energized. They get to see firsthand what goes on. They do this stuff in universities. I don't understand why they don't do it in schools. And finally, politicians. They're adults, right? There's a tale about the judge who sentenced the slumlord to live in his own slum, with the thinking being that he would have a self-interest in improving his own living conditions. We as voters should insist that our elected leaders have their children in our public schools. Things would get fixed faster. The schools would get cleaned faster if Johnny came home and said to the mayor or to the city council member, "My bathroom was filthy today, Dad, Mom, what are you going to do about it?" March 21st, 1965, the March on Selma. How do you think people would have felt if MLK said, and he's right at the front, if he said, "You know what? You guys go ahead, I'll be right at the back, okay? If you guys get in any danger, I'll be right here, you guys go ahead." Obviously, it wouldn't work. He led, he's a real leader. From the President of the United States to our mayor and our city council members, they don't have their children in our public schools. And basically what they're telling is, they've sent a message. It's not good enough for my child, but you guys go ahead. We're adults. We can lead by example. We can work together. We can take risks. And if we need to, we ought to break the rules for the sake of our kids. Thank you very much.